What if when you call your friend, somebody picked it up? Not a stranger, not a prank, but something that wasn't supposed to even be alive. Tonight's story, it's about a voice that answered a call, an old woman that wasn't supposed to even be there. Well, good evening, fellow creeps. Welcome to another story here on Creepy with Coffee. I'm Kim, your storyteller. Well, before we start with our story, if you've yet to do so, please help me like, share, and also subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get on to the story.
This is Creepy with Coffee.
This incident happened back in 2014. At the time, I was studying for my diploma at a private college in Kota Bharu, Kelantan. The horror began when I just arrived at the bus station in the city. Like usual, every 2 weeks or so, I would go back home, since my hometown was just in the neighboring state. That evening, as I was about to reach the bus station, I called my housemate, Fauzia, to ask her to pick me up and drive me back at our rented house. She was the only one among us who owned a car, so she would usually be the one that fetched me from the station. Without thinking much, I dialed her number. But when the call connected, I was stunned. Instead of Fauzia's voice, I heard what sounded like a frail, trembling voice of an old woman. She kept repeating the same thing. Baliklah anak, baliklah. Ibu kau sakit, baliklah. I froze. My heart pounded. Did I dial the wrong number? I quickly checked my phone. No, I definitely called Fauzia. The number was safe, no mistake. And besides, I had just returned from my hometown. My mother was perfectly fine, healthy as ever. Trying to calm myself, I thought, this has to be my housemate playing a prank on me. Maybe someone was mimicking the voice of an old woman to scare me. A few minutes later, I tried calling again. This time, it was indeed Fauzia who answered, sounding completely normal, as if nothing had happened. I didn't mention the strange call just yet. I decided to wait. About 10 minutes later, Fauzia arrived in her Proton Saga to pick me up. I got into the car and asked her straight away who had been trying to prank me earlier with that creepy old lady's voice. Fauzia looked confused and swore she didn't know what I was talking about. She explained that she had just finished showering and only called me back almost immediately after that. From the look of her face, I knew she wasn't lying. Usually when a friend pulls a prank, you can read it from their expression. But not this time. Fauzia was genuinely baffled. Still tired from my journey, I tried to brush it off, though the chilling voice kept echoing in my head. And to make things even more unsettling, it was Ramadan. And I thought to myself, aren't evil supposed to be chained during the month of Ramadan? When we got back to the rented house, I tried to act normal, casually observing my housemates' reaction. None of them showed any sign of laughter or satisfaction, as if they had managed to pull a prank on me. Everything felt ordinary. As usual, I then called my mother to let her know I had arrived safely. I stepped onto the upstairs balcony with my phone in my hand. While I was speaking to my mother, my housemate, Ida, came over to hang some clothes. The moment she saw me, her face suddenly shifted to pure shock. Her eyes widened, her mouth fell open. Are you serious? I can hear that she muttered. Pointing at me, then without another word, she bolted into her room. Startled, I sprinted after her, my heart racing like I was in some twisted relay race. When I reached her room, I saw Ida pale and shaken. She asked me point blank, "Kau simpan hantu eh?" Instantly, my mind flashed back to that strange voice on the phone. Even before she said another word, I had already a sinking feeling of what she had seen. Later that night, Ida revealed what had made her run. While I was on the balcony, she had clearly seen a figure standing right behind me. Probably you have guessed it right. An old woman, grey hair, standing right behind me. That was enough to confirm my worst suspicion. It must have been the same presence that answered my call earlier. To make things worse, when we checked our call logs, even more bizarre happened. On my phone, the first call to Fauzia showed as received call, which meant someone had picked it up. But on Fauzia's phone, at the exact same time, I still remember it was 9:24 p.m., it showed as missed call. In other words, no one had answered her phone, but my call, however, was received. What kind of entity had the power to pick up a call from thin air? A ghost with knowledge of technology? A thought made my skin crawl. Fearing something more sinister might follow me, I told my aunt, which lived around that area as well, about the incident. She immediately brought me to see an ustaz, a religious healer who specialized in the unseen. Through his practices, the ustaz revealed the truth. The old woman was actually the manifestation of a Pelesit, a spirit companion kept by someone as a supernatural servant. The ustaz explained that the Pelesit had recently lost its master and was now wandering aimlessly near our neighborhood looking for new master. And it made sense. Our rented house was close to a hospital, and not far from it, a mortuary. That wandering Pelesit had somehow latched onto me. To this day, I can still remember the voice that whispered through my phone, and the cold fear that night left etched in my memory. So do you think that actually the Pelesit is the one who answered the call? Or is it something else? You see, Pelesit or something like this, or in another name or in another form, is also called Saka, whereby people obtain these things through black magic practices. Pretty similar to the previous story of Kumantong. And this one, it's more to a Malaysian, Singaporean, Bruneian, Indonesian practice. Similar. Do you think that thing that you obtain is going to help you do any good? Or are you willing to pay the price later on in your life? Tell me, what do you think down below in the comments. Until the next episode, thank you and good night.